app. That's pretty simple to be the case. Coming in from this side as opposed to coming from east or west is your better option. There may be options coming on off Front Beach Road, but obviously the closer you get to the site in the morning, pre-race, a little more jammed up it's going to be. So I think coming in off of the main roadway, getting into the mall, the Pier Park Mall parking lots over here. And there are some spots where it's like no parking. So just abide by the signs. There's loads of parking. Show up earlier, get a closer spot. Show up later, get a spot that's a little further away. In the end, it all sorts itself out. I'm going to start the meeting by going over what we believe is some basic, important medical and health information that applies to every single event that Ironman puts on. And essentially, it's just to tell you that your health is our primary concern. And we do a lot of things in terms of medical and health assets at different locations throughout the day, even in advance of the race, that are there for you to utilize as you need it. But if you don't bother to access these because you think, oh, I'll feel better in a little bit, or oh, it's not that bad, or oh, I'll just keep going and maybe it will go, you know, whatever you have this ability to kind of press forward at times in a way that may not be in your own best personal interest. So we just ask you that if you need any kind of medical assistance, as minor or major as it might be, take advantage of it. Obviously pre-race, we got medical. Out in the swim, we've got teams out there to assist you. Bike course, every single aid station has basic first aid and radio communication. Same thing with the run course. We have a major medical team of volunteer physicians that come in from Jacksonville, Florida. They basically volunteer their time to come in here and work finish line medical. So if you need help, ask for it. If you see somebody who needs help, ask for them. Just race healthy and race smart, use common sense. So has everybody checked their gear in? Your gear bag? Today you checked your bike, blue bike bag, red run bag. Those will be available either by you and your wristband or your people and that checkout ticket starting as early as 6:30 p.m. That's after we get the bike cut off and what was T2 turns into parking lot. So from 6:30 to 1 a.m., you with your wristband or your people with one of those two checkout tickets can get your gear. And I'll tell you how that'll all work as we make our way through. Morning bag, same thing, that's gonna be dropped off down on beach front. Open up the doors 4:45 tomorrow morning. We close them at 6:30, athletes only. You'll be able to access your bike. You'll be able to, if necessary, access your two bags to put something in it. We're asking you not to remove it from its location, but to simply access it at its spot. Do what you need to do, cinch it back up. It's left right where you left it. Because remember, you did check it today, so you have a sense of where it is in the lineup. Volunteers are extremely helpful as well. Tech will be in there. Our friends from PlayTry will be in transition. I'm going to take this out of the holder here. Tech will be in transition in the morning, handling emergent situations. Pumping up your tires is not one of those emergent situations. Some of you will bring pumps. We will also have a variety of pumps around the fence line for you to utilize. Before you unrack your bike and wander to wherever, why not look around your own rack location? Maybe somebody's got a pump and they're happy to either pump up your tires for you or let you borrow the pump or whatever the case may be. Make life easier for yourself. How many people took a look around transition today when they checked their gear bags in just to get a sense of the flow of traffic? It's always a good idea to do that. I mean, obviously tomorrow morning, that's your last chance to do it. Maybe you're not thinking as clearly. So I always advise people whenever you're checking bikes in, just kind of look around and kind of figure out, where am I going from here? Where am I going there? What's this? What's that? And always ask questions. Questions today are worth double points. Questions tomorrow, sometimes you hear the answer, you're like, what? You don't understand what you mean. So again, tech is in there. We will have spare items like spare bags in case one of yours ripped, safety pins, swim caps. Down at the swim start, we will have replacement timing chips. So if you and your chip didn't make it from your hotel, Airbnb, whatever the case may be, to the start, we will be reissuing those probably sometime around 6 or so in the morning. There'll be a feather flag down by not too far from the Roca Swim Start inflatable and it'll say something like chips or glasses table, because that tends to happen in the same spot. Tomorrow morning also we have 3 other bags, and these are optional bags: the morning clothes bag and the 2 personal needs bags, whether it's the orange bike bag or the black run bag. And I say these are optional because these are offered to you as a service. Many of you have somebody with you who you can hand off morning clothes to as you make your way down to the swim start. For those of you who don't, we have an opportunity for you to check your morning clothes there. It'll be left there for you with your wristband or your people with a ticket to collect it. The 2 personal needs bags are dropped off in relatively the same location. One goes into a truck to be transported out to mile 52. The other is positioned at the point where you transition from lap 1 to lap 2. Any items that you put into either of the personal needs bags will not be returned if you do not use them. My belief is you put them in the bag for a reason. Take it out, put it on you. If you decide as you're finishing up the bike or finishing up the run you don't need it, you got it on you and whatever. But just understand, if you grab 3 things of the 5 things you put in the bag, those other 2 are gone. We'll recycle what we can, we'll donate what we can, but they are gone. And again, mile 52 on the bike is access point to the special needs bags, the personal needs bags, I should say, out on the bike, and as you finish lap 1, going to lap 2 on the run. As you make your way down to the beachfront, that's where you'll drop off the clear morning clothes bag. For those final 2 bags, take a moment to grab an indelible marker. You probably all carry one in a bag somewhere. Mark up your number on those like you did on the red and blue bags. It's just that much easier. The stickers are good, but sometimes they unstick. And that way we can ensure that your bag can be gotten to you and somebody's not wondering whose bag that is. Wednesday, the temperature was 76.1, which is just a little over 24 degrees Celsius. Yesterday, it was 75. This morning for the practice swim, it was 75.5. All 3 of these days, the temperature was wetsuit legal. If the temperature was a similar number tomorrow to what it is today, who among you will choose not to wear a wetsuit for whatever reason it might be? There's always a few. I talked to a guy down there today who wasn't going to. I mean, the water's perfectly comfortable. So we will make that announcement in the morning. It'll be up on the tracker. It will be on the Facebook page. A friend of yours will know about it and text you. Somewhere along the way, certainly by the time you re-enter transition in the morning after we open up at 4:45, it'll probably be on an A-frame indicating what the water temperature is. 76.1, the allowable limit. So there you are. As I talk about any of the cutoffs or time considerations, they're all based on 2 factors. The race starts at 6:45, and we get everybody last athlete in the water by 7:30. With the number of athletes we have registered, 45 minutes is a reasonable time period to get everybody in the water. So any of the cutoffs I discuss are all based on 7:30 last person in, and that's hard course cutoff. So let's talk about at the water. We're going to close transition at 6:30. You're going to get on down to the waterfront. You're going to line yourselves up in a position and behind signage that indicates a finishing time for your 2.4 mile opening swim. Times probably from under an hour all the way up to over 2 hours, probably in 10-minute intervals. Be realistic in your lineup. You'll feel better as you start the swim if you're not getting past left and right. If you're hopeful, you'll end up in a place potentially where you don't belong, and 3 or 4 buoys in, you're just getting past, and boy, that's not confidence building. So set yourself up for success and give yourself every opportunity to move forward. And that's going to be a tough run, isn't it? 6:35 national anthem, 6:45 first athlete in, rolling start. We'll either put 3 or 4 in the water every 5 seconds. The beep track will get it going. Find yourself in the appropriate lineup. Once you get inside the staging area, make sure cap, goggles, if we're wetsuits, make sure those are zipped up and you are race ready to go. We are in a body of water that's subject to currents, obstructions, and weather conditions. Use common sense. So, no matter when you start, you have 1 hour and 10 minutes to clear lap 1. You obviously have 2 hours and 20 to clear lap 2. Those are your own individual cutoffs as far as that goes. When we get the last person in the water at 7:30 is what we're based it on. By 8:40, we need to have everybody making their way to lap number 2. Whether it's on land as you run through that Australian run and out to the next lap, or you're actually on the second lap. That becomes the hard course cutoff. At 9:50, 2 hours 20 from that last person in the water, if you're not out of the water, you cannot continue on. Even if you started somewhere inside that, if you do eclipse the 2 hour and 20 time limit, but the course cutoff is behind you, you will continue on, but at some point throughout the day, you will be recategorized to NC, non-competitive. But if everything goes well, you've done the 2.4, you bike the 112, you run the marathon, you finished Ironman Florida. And for a lot of you, that is job 1. How you got there matters not. And I'll say this a couple times, keep moving unless we stop you, just keep moving. Once you're out in the water, the first half of the course will have yellow buoys pointing you in the correct direction. In the clockwise swim, you'll have 2 red buoys at the top of the course. You want to keep those on your right shoulder. The rest of the buoys, we'd rather they be on your right to keep you outside of the inside of the swim area for our emergency personnel. But you can go in or out of the initially yellow and then in the second half orange buoys. Those are totally directional. But ultimately, the red turn buoys, you have to make right turns around them on the right shoulder. Going in and out of, obviously, you're going to be swimming more than the distance that we have designated it as. Start slowly, pick up the pace. You know the drill. If you need help, raise your hand. We'll have somebody over there as quickly as possible. With the probably 1,800 or so of you, if you see something that should get our attention and it hasn't yet, please bring it to our attention. That could be the difference between a good thing and not a good thing. Work with us, again, helping others. We are really in this thing together, and the more that we can do to help each other, the better off we will be to make our way safely to the finish line. Down where the timing chips are being reissued, if you lost track of yours for tomorrow morning, we will also have a glasses table. That might also include an inhaler or a unique I cannot go on without it item. Place those items in the bags we have, mark it with your race number appropriately. If you check something with us, when you exit the water, remember to uncheck it, take it with you. As you make your way up the beach, there'll come a point where there'll be a space where we will have volunteer wetsuit peelers releasing you from your wetsuit. Lay down, get it down to your hip, lay down, let it go. Hand back the suit, through the fresh showers, across the street, into T1, where you'll be directed to grab your blue bike bag. And you will make your way into the appropriate changing tent. And off goes all swim things, on goes all bike things. All the things that you swam in that you're not biking in, go back into the blue bag, which you will take with you to your bike. Drop it at your location, grab your bike, make your way on foot out of transition to the mountain line, and off you go on 112 miles. Again, you will carry your blue bag from changing tent to your rack location. And inside that is everything that you have swam in or that you will not be biking in. Drop it at your location, grab your bike, away you go. Based on the 7:30 last in the water and the 9:50 cutoff, we have to have everybody out on the bike course by 10:05. You got 15 minutes to get out. Want to remind you, roads are open to vehicular traffic. Watch for staff vehicles and other official course vehicles. Watch out for our crew who are on the scooters with Play Tri. Watch out for each other. Watch out for vehicles who have nothing to do with the race and are as surprised as you that they found themselves in a situation, and you're both having the same thought, how are you going to get out of here? You encounter people in cars when you're out training. The only thing I can remind you is car large, bike small. Govern yourself. It's you all that cause each other troubles. It's operator error initiated problems. Think about the golden rule. Ride to the right, pass the left, get back to the right, communicate as necessary. Be a good person. There are 6 aid stations you will come to. The first one is almost 21 miles into the bike ride. If you're wondering about the format of the aid stations, you look on page 16 of the athlete guide, and it'll give you the layout from the beginning of the discard zone, all the different tables of all the nutrition and hydration, and the end of the discard zone. 20.5, 37.5, 49.7, 66.5, 81.7, 97.1. Those are the spots where we will have aid stations. Water, Mortal Hydration, Margarita non-salty, Sport Top bottles, Morton Gels, calf, non-calf, mean caffeinated, right? Bars, fruits, radio communications, great volunteers, Porta-Johns. I don't know what else we could possibly offer you, but we'll do the best we can. If you're not that good at grabbing a bike while you're rolling through, why not get past that last table, pull over safely, grab the items you need, and continue on from there. You will thank yourself at some point down the road. Conditions are like this. For those of you who are from more northern climates, you're going to be happy you got that extra hydration. Or if you're one of those people who's really careful about calories, getting the nutrition you need might make the difference between a happy run and a less than happy run. And again, don't be so prideful. You think, wow, no, but that's what people do. They grab the bottle. They go through there 25 miles an hour. Just get the bottle and use good common sense. Yell your preferences. If you're having an issue that's slowing you down but not stopping you on the bike, getting there with the radio communications might get our tech team to you earlier than just hanging out on the road. And I say might, because that might, or it might not. Orange Personal Needs available at mile 52. There is also water at that location. It's not a proper aid station. We just have water there. Mile 52. Our crew will do the best they can to get that to you in an easy manner. That might be a place where you decide, you know what, I got something in there. I'm going to stop. I'm going to get it out. I'm going to do what I'm going to do with it, and I'm going to carry on. 30 seconds can run, seems like forever stopping. 30 seconds on the run is an instant. So just think about what you need to do. I got an old buddy who's a coach out in California. He says, you put it in the bag for a reason. Any mechanical difficulties? As I said, Play-Try is out there doing their business. They're doing the best they can to get to you, but don't expect them to be there when you need to be there. We do have an expectation that you are somewhat self-sufficient as it relates to basic mechanical. If weather dictates, we don't expect this. Every single meeting, seek shelter on the course. Be smart. There are 2 on-course cutoffs on the bike. We need you to be at almost mile 70. It's one of our turnarounds on the course by 3:10. That's based on the 7:30 last person in the water. At aid station 6, which is just under 97 miles, that's right about 97 miles, got to have you there by 5. Ben Rouse, everybody, our race director, Ironman Florida right there, yeah. Everything's going great, Ben. I can't believe you are just walking around doing nothing, which I don't think he is probably. He's probably taking a moment. 5 o'clock by aid 6, 97 miles, got to be in T2, 6 p.m. Again, that's the whole 10 hours, 30, whatever it is, whatever the number is. My math is sometimes a little shaky. Out on the bike, out on the run course by 6:10. So let's say you're getting to T2 at like 5:50, and you're inside the changing tent and you're having a moment. Have the moment out on the course. Because all of a sudden it's 6:11 and somebody's stopping you and saying you can't go.
Jeez.
There's a story somebody told me of a race, like a 3-loop run course, and this group of guys were doing the run together, and they were real close to the cutoff at that point, and they stopped and high-fiving, kissing girlfriends, wives, everybody, whatever. They did it so long they got stopped because they weren't aware of the time. So just keep moving. Craig Hankin is our head referee. He is the lead official. I do not get into a whole lot of official discussions except a few things. If you're shown a blue card, it's a 5-minute penalty. It's either drafting or littering. Blatant drafting or littering. That's how we see those two. Yellow card, 1 minute. Everything else. Red card, I don't know what you did, but you're DQ'd. There's a penalty tent on the course, and there's a penalty tent on Front Beach Road, like right before you dismount into T2. Ride to the right, pass to the left, get back to the right. 6 bike lengths, 25 seconds. I'm gonna guess from the tree there to this gentleman right here, approximately 6 bike lengths. Once you're inside, you got 25 seconds to get through. Go big or go home. It will be very obvious if you have received a penalty. They will call you by your race number. They will tell you what the penalty is for. They will show you the card. They will tell you to proceed to the next penalty tent to serve your time. Whether you believe it is justified or not, go to the penalty tent and serve your time. You can have a conversation with them later. Referee's job, primary job, address fair play. More of you play by the rules, the easier it is to see those who are not. So just be that person. Dismount T2. You'll hand your bike off to one of our wonderful volunteers. They will take that bike back to your rack location. You will run past the red run bags, grab your red run bag into the changing tent of the appropriate gender. Off goes all bike stuff, on goes all run stuff, and whatever you're not going to go out on the run with has to be back in that red bag, which you will cinch up and leave right where you were in the changing tent. Our volunteers will take that red bag to your rack location. Oh, Ben's updating me. Just outside the tent, there will be a place where you will pile your red bags, and then our volunteers will move this. So I think we're just trying to keep the changing tent. That's cool. I appreciate that. What's right is right. So once you're done with the red bag, just kind of grab it. Literally, you're going to go 10 feet outside, drop it right there. Off you go on the run course. 2-lap run course. 7 aid stations per lap, out beachfront road and back. Real simple. If again you're wondering what do the run course aid stations look like, look at page 16 in the athlete guide for the layout in terms of what's offered where. Again, discard zone, first and last. Shorter length because you're moving at a different speed. There are sections of the run course that are very tight with runner traffic, vehicular traffic, people going both directions, the rest of it. Keep your eyes open, keep your head on a swivel. Keep an eye out for each other. Water, Mortal Berry, non-salty. Cola, Morton Gels, caffeinated, non-caffeinated, bars, chips, pretzels, fruit, bananas, oranges, chicken broth after dark. Dark comes pretty quick in these parts. So there's going to come a point when you're going to be going through an aid station where a volunteer or an official is going to give you a glow stick of some sort. Wear it with pride, knowing that I'm going to finish after dark. All the aid stations, basic first aid, radio communications. When you complete lap number 1, that will be your one and only opportunity to access your personal needs bag before you head back out onto the second of the 2 laps. On the basis that we're everybody in the water by 7:30, you got to complete that first lap and out on the second one by 9:25. We need you to the far turnaround, the far eastern turnaround, which is about 19.5 miles, by 11. And you'll have until 12:30 a.m. Current time, not switched time. Of course, you know we switch time overnight. Course closes 17 hours after the last athlete enters the water. Keep moving unless we stop you. Weather dictates, seek shelter on the course. It's in every single briefing I give. Some events it makes sense because the weather looks funky. Other places it's like, what? But again, just use good common sense. Name and number on equipment. Don't litter, don't paint on the roads, use the bathrooms, no headphones, no pacing outside support. If your day ends prior to the finish line in Pier Park, and for some of you it will, it just will. It's not your plan, it's not our plan for you. If it does, please let an official or a volunteer know so that we can report that into command and potentially communicate with loved ones as to where are you and what is going on. Coming down the finish line, at the head of the finish line, for all your first timers, you have a chance to ring that bell. Come on down. It is for you and you alone. The only people that should be coming down the finish line have a timing chip on one of their ankles. We know you're excited about your parent, maybe your spouse, your kid, your Now, save the celebration with them until after. Don't risk the possibility of disqualification. Come down that finish line and just get it done. 6:30 to 1, gear checkout. Lost and found will be at the info tent, or usually it'll make it over to our location because we have amplified sound. Sunday morning, Sunday, Aaron Besant Park, 7 a.m. to noon. Award celebration, slot allocation, little brekkie. At 9 o'clock, I will get underway with our top 5 awards. We'll go youngest to oldest up here on the stage right here. Once I'm done with that, Tom Zebart will jump in. He'll manage the VinFast Ironman World Championship slot allocation and roll down. For this event, we'll be sending 45 women to Kona for October 11th of 2025. We will be sending 75 men to Nice on September 14th. If you want one of those spots, you got to be here. If that gets underway at, let's say, 10 o'clock or so, I would imagine everything will be concluded probably by 11:15, maybe 11:25, something like that. Got to be here. I did the slots in Maryland where the allocation was exactly the same. The women's spots moved not much at all. Very few of them made about a top 10. The men's spots for Nice, there were a couple where we got to a group, we had maybe 7 or 8, and we had 2 remaining. And what we'll often do is say, okay, I'll give it out to the 2 fastest in whatever group it was. And literally one guy came up and we didn't have his results on the printout that we had. He was like 45th. But he grabbed a spot. And that was what he wanted to do. So if you want to go to Nice or you want to go to Kona, be here for that. You got to be here. You got to have the credit card. I think we're talking 700 and change euros, give or take, something like that. And that is a story. A little later on in the day, from 2 o'clock, I'll host the volunteer appreciation ceremony. So I've concluded my part of the thing. Anybody got any remaining questions? Questions? Preguntas? Anybody? Oh, come on. There we go, sir. Yes, front row. The personal needs bags will be dropped off in a truck or at the location. As you're leaving transition, we'll be making announcements in the morning as to where those are located. They're located towards